Thursday, April 16th, 2026 meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commission. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do welcome you. I'll introduce the folks on this end of the room, starting with Roger Baltz, our Chief Administrative Officer, TJ Murphy and Nico Hash, representing the county attorney and trying to keep us straight on the straight and narrow. Commissioner Candace Payne to my right, Commissioner Andy Hunthausen on my left. I'm Tom Rolfe, Chair of the Commission this year. Her to my left is Brandi Grande, who is our recording secretary, keeps all that's done in minutes and records so that we have proof that we did it down the road. And then Jenny Chambers, our Director of Public Works and Planning. I'm going to take a minute to read you a little story about about what was going on about 250 years ago. This actually takes us back into 1770. As we think about the freedoms we have, there haven't always been freedoms for anyone, and this little story has a kind of an interesting turn of events. A fellow by the name of Samuel Howell stood before the General Court of Virginia. Howell was a mixed race. His grandmother was a free white woman, while his grandfather was black. Virginia law at the time required that children of such a union were destined for servitude until age 30. Slavery. Howell's mother, therefore, was an indentured servant, but the law said nothing about the grandchildren. Samuel Howell, the grandson, was an indentured servant by force who sought his freedom. He took the matter to court in a now famous case called Howell versus Netherland. The attorney representing Howell argued the case eloquently, declaring, and I quote, "Under the law of nature, all men are born free. Everyone comes into the world with a right to his own person, which includes the liberty of moving and using it at his own will. This is what is called personal liberty, and is given him by the author of nature because it is necessary for his own sustenance. Reducing the mother to servitude was a violation of the law of nature. Surely then the same law cannot prescribe us a continuance of that violation on her issue, and that too without end, for it extends to any. If it extends to any, it must to every degree of descendants." It was a flawless argument. Consider those words again. Under the law of nature, all men are born free. Everyone comes into this world with a right to his own person. This is what is called personal liberty, and is given to him by the author of nature. True as these words sound now, they were revolutionary when this case were argued in April of 1770. The judge would not hear it and ruled against Samuel Howell. He lost the case, but the idea, the philosophy, and the doctrine of the young attorney would in the end triumph and change all human history. The young attorney was 27-year-old Thomas Jefferson. Interesting how difficult it was before those brave people 250 years ago bought us our freedom, with their lives. On to the work of the county commission. We have consent action items. Mr. Balls.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is item 2A on the agenda today. It's public meeting minutes for March 26th and 31st. and April 2nd and 7th, 2026. Staff recommends approval of that item. Thank you very much.
Any questions from the commission? No, seeing no questions from the commission, or is there any public comment? Is there any public comment on this consent action item? I see none. We'll move to a motion if we have one.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve consent action item 2A as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the consent action items? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the public meeting minutes for March 26, 31, April 2nd, and 7th of 2026, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. In under action items, we have independent contractor agreement between Lewis and Clark County and the Helena Weed Control. Christian Lehnert.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Christian Lehnert. I'm the Lewis and Clark County Noxious Weed Supervisor. Before you today is a request to approve a contract with Helena Weed Control for invasive and noxious weed management services on BLM lands or Bureau of Land Management. This funding opportunity, was presented and accepted by the BoCC on October 7th, 2025. Following the acceptance, the county completed a limited solicitation process to procure a contractor to perform the work. This agreement is a part of a 5-year term with a total value not to exceed $45,000. Within that framework, annual contracts are executed in the amounts not to exceed $9,000. The contract term for this year is May 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2026. The purpose of this project is to reduce invasive and noxious plant populations through approved herbicide applications and BLM integrated pest management practices, thereby supporting the restoration of native vegetation and overall rangeland health. 3 priority treatment areas totaling approximately 931 acres have been identified in and around the Marysville area and will be addressed according to priority. Access to these sites will require coordination between the county and BLM personnel with the contractor. Target species include spotted knapweed, musk thistle, and common mullein, as well as all species listed on the Montana State and Lewis and Clark County noxious weed list. Under the proposed agreement, Helena Weed Control will provide all labor, equipment, and materials necessary to perform herbicide treatments using BLM approved products and site appropriate methods. Treatments will occur during optimal growth periods, generally between May and August, and will comply with herbicide label requirements in BLM integrated pest management guidelines. The contractor will be required to maintain a valid Montana pesticide applicator license, conduct a pre-treatment site visit, maintain treatment records, submit geospatial data, and comply with all applicable regulations and standard operating procedures. The total contract amount for this year will not exceed $9,000 and is included in the approved budget. Staff recommends approval for the contract with Helena Weed Control for invasive and noxious weed control services for the period of May 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2026.
Could you just take a little bit more time and talk a little bit about that partnership with BLM and some of the federal agencies?
Yes, Chairman Rolfe. So not just we, but the Weed Board has also been trying to work with BLM and other agencies. This in 2025, we had an opportunity where BLM reached out where there was a NOFO or notice of funding opportunity to come together. So we worked with the BLM, Kevin Sheridan out of the Butte Field Office, and we were just able to get it all submitted and turned in before that shutdown. So we got a little lucky on that end. But yeah, we've been working with the BLM. The Weed Board has to try to work on a lot of the complaints that we have received and frustration from landowners out in the Marysville area. That's why we sort of chose the Marysville area to begin this partnership with them. So.
And when you say the Marysville area, are you kind of including over the hump towards Canyon Creek as well, or?
Yeah, so let me look in here real quick. I think I have it in our. So if you look right here on Exhibit A within this, priority area 1 is just east of the town of Marysville. So we have our fire department house right there. There's a little chunk of BLM that's right there bordering Marysville. It's around approximately 9 acres, and that was priority 1. So to start working there to manage those weeds in that 9 acres. And then priority 2 is we have to go down Belmont Drive. So it's sort of working, believe on the back side of the ski hill back behind Marysville to the north. So then we're working on a couple sections back in that area. So for the next 5 years. And then within this agreement also, it's not just for the Marysville area, it is for BLM lands within Lewis and Clark County. We just picked this area within our application to specify these areas as well. And if we accomplish what we want to accomplish faster, we're looking at moving out to like Priest Pass area and some of those other areas out on the west to try to help mitigate some of the noxious weeds in those areas.
Great. Are there any other questions from the commission?
No.
Any other questions? See no questions from the commission. Do we have any public comment? Any public comment? I don't see any public comment. So do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the action item 3A, the independent contractor contract between Lewis and Clark County and Helena Weed Control as presented by Christian Lehnert.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the independent contractor contract between Lewis and Clark County and Helena Weed Control as explained by Christian Lehnert, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is a appointment to the Fair Board. Mr. Bowles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This is item 3B on the agenda today. You have the memo of information as a part of your backup. I'll read it into the record. The Fairgrounds Advisory Board. This is an 11-member board. There are 4 vacancies on the board. Steffi Johnson applied. There were no other applicants. Action, staff recommends that the commission consider the applicant to a partial term that will expire December 31, 2027. Thank you, Commissioners.
Any comments from the commission on this appointment?
I have a
Commissioner Payne.
Yesterday, I attended the Fairgrounds Advisory Board meeting, and I don't believe we had a quorum because when you've got an 11-member board and there's 4 vacancies and, one person went out to his mother's funeral or something, it is really hard to get the work done if we don't have enough volunteers. And to have a person step up, and I don't know anything about this appointee, but it's really important. These volunteers are the ones who keep things moving along. We really appreciate people stepping up and saying, yeah, I'll help. And the Fairgrounds Advisory Board, this one is particularly important because the Fairgrounds it's almost completely self-sustaining. Is that right? Mm-hmm. It pays for itself. And so the Fair Board has to work with the people who actually get paid to work out at the fairgrounds to come up with ideas on, well, let's see, should we have more concerts? Should we have a demolition derby, should we have a, there's always something that needs input, and we need it from our community members, because if we can keep this running as a, what in the world what's the word I'm trying to think of that it's self-sustaining, Tom? What is?
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Pride zone, yes.
This is an enterprise operation out there. They try to pay for itself in the interest of keeping our taxes as low as we can. It is so important, and we need volunteers. So, and besides, this is a really fun board. This one is, they've always, all kinds of things going on. So I'm really appreciating that this volunteer has offered her time. And so thank you. That's all.
All right. Any other comments? I do think I do agree. We do need volunteers on a number of our boards and committees, but this is particularly an important one. And we have every year have the big Last Chance Stampede coming up, and the Fairgrounds Advisory Board plays a big part in that and making sure that it runs well. So I sure would encourage anybody that has an interest in putting their name in the hat. All right. Is there any other comment? Do we have any public comment on this board appointment? Any public comment? Seeing no board, so seeing no public comment, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we appoint Steffi Johnson to the Fairgrounds Advisory Board to a partial term that will expire December 31st, 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the board appointment of Steffi Johnson to Fairgrounds Advisory Board, as explained by Roger Baltz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we have arrived at the end of our regularly scheduled items for today's meeting. We always save time for somebody that might want to bring something to our attention that's under the purview of the county commission, but not on today's agenda. So we always ask for public comment. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? There being none, we're adjourned.